You said something at lunch, nothing dramatic, a small comment, a casual opinion, maybe a joke that landed slightly wrong. The conversation moved on. Everyone forgot about it in 30 seconds. Everyone except you. Hours later, lying in bed, you are still replaying it, rewording it, wondering what they thought, wondering if they are thinking about it right now. They are not. But your brain does not know that. And the reason it does not know that is one of the strangest and most revealing things about what it means to be human. This is not anxiety. This is not insecurity. This is evolution, doing exactly what it was designed to do, in a world that no longer requires it. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your head, the replay stops feeling like a flaw. It starts feeling like a fossil, a remnant of something that once kept your ancestors alive. Your brain runs a background program. It never turns off. Psychologists call it self-referential processing, but the plain English version is simpler. Your brain is constantly asking one question. What do other people think of me right now? Not occasionally, not when it seems relevant, constantly. While you work, while you eat, while you try to sleep. A quiet, relentless social audit running beneath every other thought you have. You did not choose to install this program. It was already there when you arrived. To understand why, you have to go back. Not to childhood, much further. To a time when your ancestors lived in tight bands of between 50 and 150 people, moving across landscapes where every single resource, food, shelter, protection, reproduction, was controlled socially. You could not survive alone. The group was the difference between living and dying. And within that group, your reputation was everything. Not your talent, not your intelligence, your reputation. What other people believed about you determined whether you were included or excluded, trusted or suspected, chosen or left behind. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar, who spent decades studying social group sizes in primates and humans, found that the human neocortex, the thinking, social part of the brain, is disproportionately large compared to other animals. His research suggested this wasn't an accident. The human brain grew large not primarily to solve mathematical problems or build tools, but to manage the extraordinary complexity of human social relationships, to track who likes whom, who owes whom, who can be trusted, who is rising, and who is falling in the group's invisible hierarchy. Your brain is, at its core, a social reputation management machine. It was built to care what people think, because caring what people think once determined whether you lived. And within that world, making a social mistake was not just embarrassing, it was dangerous. Say the wrong thing to the wrong person, offend the wrong leader, be seen as unreliable or untrustworthy. These were not career setbacks. They were potentially fatal errors. The band might exclude you, and exclusion meant exposure, starvation, predation. The stakes of social judgment were existential. So your ancestors who worried most about what others thought, who replayed interactions, who monitored expressions, who anticipated social consequences before they happened, those ancestors survived. They were included. They were chosen. They passed that hypervigilant social brain all the way down to you. Researcher Nicholas Epley at the University of Chicago has spent years studying what he calls the illusion of transparency, the deeply held but incorrect belief that other people can see what you are feeling and thinking far more clearly than they actually can. His experiments showed something striking. When people made a mistake in public, spilled a drink, gave a wrong answer, said something awkward, they consistently and dramatically overestimated how much other people noticed and remembered. The spotlight felt blinding, but the audience had already looked away. Epley called it the spotlight effect. Your brain is convinced you are standing in a beam of light that everyone around you is watching, but the beam exists only inside your own head. Why does this happen? because your brain evolved to pay exquisite attention to social signals directed at you. It is extraordinarily good at noticing when someone glances in your direction, when a tone shifts, when a face changes, but it is catastrophically bad at modeling how little cognitive space other people actually dedicate to thinking about you. Other people are running the same background program. They are worrying about what you think of them. They are replaying their own awkward moments. They are starring in their own private spotlight. Nobody has enough mental bandwidth left over to be the audience your brain insists is watching. But your brain does not update this model. It cannot. Because for 300,000 years, the cost of underestimating social attention was catastrophic. If you assumed nobody noticed your mistake, and they had, you would not correct your behavior. You would not repair the relationship. You would not manage your reputation. And in a small band where reputation was survival, that was an error you might not recover from. So the brain overcorrects. Permanently, it assumes everyone noticed. It assumes everyone remembered. It runs the replay because in the ancestral environment, the replay served a purpose. It was rehearsal. It was social learning. It was your brain preparing you to do better next time so the group would not reject you. Psychologist Mark Leary at Duke University developed what he called sociometer theory. The idea is radical and simple at the same time. Self-esteem is not actually about how you feel about yourself. It is a gauge, a social instrument. It rises when you feel included and valued by others, and it falls when you sense exclusion or disapproval because low self-esteem was an early warning system, a signal that your social standing was at risk and that you needed to change your behavior before the group acted against you. The shame you feel after saying the wrong thing, the dread of being judged, the compulsive need to know if someone is upset with you. These are not personality weaknesses. They are the sociometer doing exactly what it was built to do, 300,000 years after the environment that required it disappeared. Here is what changes when you understand this. The replay is not irrational. It is ancient. The worry about what people think is not vanity or weakness. It is the most deeply embedded social software your species ever developed. And like all ancient software running in a modern environment, it misfires. It treats a mildly awkward comment like a threat to survival. It runs the spotlight in an empty room. It sounds alarms for dangers that no longer exist at the scale they once did. But it is not broken. It is just old. And old things can be worked with once you see them clearly. When the replay starts tonight, you do not have to fight it. You do not have to tell yourself it does not matter. You do not have to force yourself to stop. You can simply recognize what is happening. Your ancient social brain, shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of genuine survival pressure, is doing its job. It is monitoring your reputation in a group that no longer exists, worrying about a judgment that probably never happened, rehearsing a response to an exclusion that is not coming. The person you said that thing to at lunch has not thought about it since they took their next bite. Their own ancient social brain was already busy replaying something they said to someone else. You said something at lunch, nothing dramatic. And somewhere in a mind built for a world that no longer exists, a small alarm is still ringing. Not because something went wrong, but because for a very long time, paying this much attention to what other people thought was the only thing that kept your kind alive.